No one warns you about this part. Sometimes she doesn't explode, she doesn't fight, she doesn't accuse you of anything, she just slowly disappears emotionally, while still standing right in front of you. You didn't see a big argument, you didn't cheat. There wasn't some dramatic ending. One day she was warm, the next week she felt distant. Her replies got shorter, her eyes stopped lighting up. She says she's just tired or just stressed. And you start replaying everything in your head. What did I do? Why didn't she tell me? Why does it feel like I lost her without a breakup? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Emotional withdrawal rarely happens suddenly, it happens quietly, in layers. And most people miss the early signs because they're addicted to how things used to feel. Let's break this down psychologically. When someone begins pulling away emotionally, it's usually not about one event. It's about a shift in emotional safety or attraction. For many women, emotional connection is the fuel. If she starts feeling misunderstood, unappreciated, bored, or emotionally unseen for long enough, something changes internally. She may not even consciously decide to detach. Her nervous system just stops investing. Attachment styles play a huge role here. If she leans avoidant, closeness can feel overwhelming once it gets to real. At first, she might chase intensity. But once the relationship requires vulnerability, accountability, and long-term consistency, her brain associates that with loss of independence or emotional risk. So she withdraws to regulate herself. If she's anxious, the pattern is different. She may pull away when she feels her needs aren't being met consistently. Instead of fighting for reassurance forever, she may slowly give up. Not loudly, quietly. Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. Sometimes she pulls away because the power dynamic shifted. At the beginning, mystery exists. Uncertainty creates dopamine. She's curious about you. You're not fully predictable. There's emotional tension. But over time, if you overinvest, overchase, or make her the center of your emotional world, attraction can fade. Not because you're a bad person, but because polarity collapsed. Human attraction thrives on balance, not desperation. If she feels like you need her more than she wants you, her subconscious shifts. The relationship starts feeling heavy instead of exciting. And here's another truth most people avoid. Sometimes she checked out weeks before you noticed. Women often process emotional endings internally first. By the time she says, "I don't feel the same," she's already grieved the relationship in her head. You're just hearing about it late. Men, on the other hand, often stay emotionally stable until something visibly breaks. They react to the change. Women tend to feel the change before it becomes visible. This difference creates confusion. You think everything was fine, she was already detaching. And you didn't see it because you were looking at behavior, not energy. Now let's talk about your role in this. Not to blame you, but to confront reality. Did you stop growing once you felt secure? Did you start seeking constant reassurance? Did you ignore subtle signs she was emotionally drifting? Did you assume comfort equals connection? Complacency kills attraction slowly. When effort drops, when curiosity dies. When conversations become transactional, when emotional tension turns into routine. It doesn't explode, it erodes, and here's the part that stings. Sometimes she pulls away because she outgrew the version of you that showed up at the start. That doesn't mean you're worthless, it means you stopped evolving. Relationships require continuous identity expansion. When one partner grows mentally or emotionally and the other stays static, distance forms naturally. Now let's look at the gender psychology without romanticizing either side. Many men are wired to bond through shared experiences, physical presence, loyalty, and problem solving. If there's no obvious conflict, they assume stability. Many women bond through emotional depth, subtle shifts in tone, future projection, and how they feel around you over time. If the feeling changes, the bond weakens even if nothing bad happened. This isn't about right or wrong. It's about different emotional processing systems. But here's the hardest truth. Sometimes she pulls away because she was never as emotionally invested as you believed. Early intensity is not equal to long-term commitment. Chemistry is not attachment. Attention is not loyalty. Consistency in texting is not emotional depth. If you ignored red flags because the attention felt good, you participated in your own illusion. Now pause. Instead of asking, "How do I make her come back?" ask something more dangerous. Why did I ignore the signs? Were you afraid to confront distance because you feared losing her? Did you sense the imbalance but hoped it would fix itself? Were you addicted to potential instead of reality? Emotional denial is powerful. We'd rather hold on to the version of someone from 3 months ago than accept who they are today. Here's the shift in perspective. Her pulling away is not always a betrayal. Sometimes it's information that the dynamic changed. Information that the attraction wasn't sustainable. Information that something in you needs strengthening. Chasing her when she's emotionally retreating rarely restores attraction. It usually confirms that you're panicking. And panic is not attractive to someone already uncertain. Silent advice, not manipulation. If you feel someone withdrawing, don't overtalk. Don't over-explain. Don't overpromise change in desperation. Regulate yourself first. Pull your focus back to your mission, your routine, your body, your growth. Not to make her jealous, not to trigger fear, but to rebuild your internal stability. Attraction thrives when both people feel chosen, not needed for survival. And if she continues to drift despite your grounded presence, accept it faster. The longer you cling to someone emotionally halfway out the door, the more you damage your own self-respect. The real power shift happens when you stop trying to convince someone to value you. You cannot negotiate genuine desire. You cannot argue someone into emotional presence. And you should never shrink yourself to stop someone from leaving. Sometimes the silence you fear is the clarity you avoided. If someone can emotionally exit without communicating, that tells you something about their emotional maturity. And if you stayed in denial while feeling the distance, that tells you something about yours. This isn't about blaming women. This isn't about blaming men. It's about understanding dynamics without fantasy. Emotional withdrawal without warning usually isn't sudden. It's the final stage of a process you didn't want to see. And the moment you stop asking, "Why did she change?" and start asking, "Where did I ignore reality?" that's when you stop repeating the pattern. Because the most dangerous relationships aren't the ones that explode, they're the ones that fade, while you're still trying to hold on to the beginning. Sometimes the closure you want isn't an explanation. It's the courage to accept what her distance already told you.